Ready to go live. We're live. Hey, everybody. I always like
Morning.
to take my glasses off because it reflects and all that. You can't see my blue eyes, but then when I take my glasses off, I can't see. So, anyway, Jordan, you don't understand those problems. Michelle, you definitely don't understand those problems because
Soon enough. Soon
young
enough.
eyes, man. I know when I was 40, about 40, 41 years old, I started getting these headaches, and I thought, oh my gosh, I've got something severely wrong with me. And somebody laughed at me and they said, yeah, you need glasses. It's like, no, I never wore glasses. They said, you're going to start. So, anyway. Hey, what's happening on Maui? I'm here, actually.
Rain.
Yeah, lots of rain. We're okay, guys. But yeah, it was apparently a lot of the news outlets were, blasting it all over the nation, it was pretty bad in Haiku. So the main area that got blasted basically was Haiku.
Which is,
Oh,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go for it. What were you going to
So
say?
it's just for people who are just saying, oh, I've been to Maui, I love Maui. It's sort of if you've taken the road to Hana, once you leave Paia and you go 5 miles, that's sort of where Haiku is. And Haiku runs all the way to Nahiku, which is sort of the whole, I guess it'd be the northeastern coast of Maui, and it's the rainforest, and that's where Haiku is. That's where they got just pummeled with 20 inches of rain in one day, which is
Yeah.
and
The number was like 16.63 inches in 24 hours, which beat 40 state rainfall records. Hawaii had more one day, a previous higher record, but I mean, that just kind of gives you a sense of how crazy it was. And then what also, part of it was there's a dam there and they were saying that it might burst at any moment. Right. And so that was they had evacuations and, unfortunately, a few people, lost their homes. We were talking about this before we came on, but there's a GoFundMe. Michelle, do you have the article there?
Yeah.
So one of
it's on Maui now.
Out there. Yeah. So
it's really sad. And the guy, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go for it.
Oh, I was going to say the guy I saw him on TV, one of the people that lost their home, the water was up to the second story, and his insurance said, yeah, we're not covering it, which just really stinks that, you pay all the money, they're happy to collect it, and then all of a sudden when it's time to pay out, it's like, oh, well, you didn't have the policy written properly, which I just think stinks. So yeah. I feel bad for those folks because they're just trying to survive.
But, it was the Kapukulua farmhouse, I believe. But yeah, they have a GoFundMe. If you search Maui flood and GoFundMe, if you want to donate, definitely go do that.
Cool.
People were asking, how was it on the other side of the island? We had rain in Kihei and stuff, but it was no major flooding or anything.
Right.
So, yeah.
We get it on Kihei every once in a while, but this time it wasn't like that. So, but yeah, it's always interesting to see how the news media, people look at Maui or Hawaii and it's like, oh, it happens everywhere. It's still a big enough place where we're not impacted by all things that happen.
It reminds me of what was it, a couple of years ago when there was the volcano.
Yes.
And people were reaching out, be like, "Oh my God, are you alive?" It's like that's a big island. That's quite
different place.
Yeah. So yeah,
I agree. But it's been, what I've noticed too is in the last couple of days, it seems like it's gotten a little busier here in Maui. It's spring break time, so we're starting to see more folks showing up. I know some friends of mine are coming to the island. One got in 2 days ago, another one got in tomorrow. So we're seeing more activity and people showing up, and it's a little bit harder to get rooms now, which is great for our economy. I'm excited about that. And I was with somebody yesterday who came in from Oregon, and he said, wow, this is so nice. You can sit in a restaurant and have a dinner and not have to have a mask on. So there's still a lot of places that are, reacting differently than we are. And I'm as I've said many times, I've thrown our governor and our mayor under the bus plenty, but I have to give them some kudos to that we're operating closer to normal than some places, and I appreciate that, and safely too. It's one of the safest places right now in the country and the world to be. So,
yeah. So, what's happening this Saturday? I know we mentioned it.
Bocce tournament, Bocce Extreme World Tournament, I think it is, of champions, because of COVID, they're restricting how many players there's going to be. So it's going to be the top 8 winning teams top 8 winning players from the last 10 years and um, they're having a tournament of champions for the World Extreme Bocce Ball Tournament, which only exists on St. Patrick's Day weekend here in Maui. It's sort of something that one of our friends created as a fundraiser, and it's really cute. They've got a bunch of people together, and they raise money for Maui Food Bank, the Realtors Association, for Backpack Buddies. So they put backpacks together. There it is.
There it is. Yep.
They put backpacks together for the kids every Friday to take home, so that they have food over the weekend for those that are at food at risk. And it's in conjunction with the Maui Food Bank and the Maui Association of Realtors. And I just love the fact that we're doing that. And so they can't have an audience. And we said we're going to take our show on the road. So Jordan and I are going to be, and Michelle are going to be doing Facebook Lives from our channels. So you'll be able to see the live coverage and the bocce ball tournament. And so what you guys don't know is that when I grew up in this house in Joliet, Illinois, and right next to our house was the American Slovenian home, which was a bunch of Slovenians, and Slovenia is right next to Italy. And bocce ball was a big game out of Europe, Eastern Europe, and Italy and Slovenia. And so they had bocce ball courts basically in my backyard. So I grew up watching the old Slovenian guys playing bocce ball in their courts. And I learned how to swear in Slovenian, but I can't remember it.
Important things to take from that, yeah. It was interesting because Patrick, the guy who's puts it on every year, Patrick Kilbride, he was telling me that this is the 10th annual, and it's kind of full circle because you and Lori were actually at the first one, right, Tom? That's what he was saying.
No, we were at a different. We did go to one somewhere else, but I don't know if it was. It might have been the Backpack Buddies one. I can't remember, but a long time ago we did play in one.
Yeah. Okay.
Not on the golf course, so it might have been there where it started. So
yeah, it'll be super fun. I played in it once, and it was just. I mean, it's at Mulligan's. If everybody knows where Mulligan's is, great restaurant. They have an outdoor, indoor area, and then the big lawn where they have the bocce ball tournament.
Yeah,
so,
but they're not allowing spectators. That's why we're going to be there. So if you want to watch it, be part of it, donate. We're going to have links on our sites for the Maui Food Bank, and we're going to be doing throw by throw coverage of the world.
We need to get like a theme, like Sports Center theme song or something like that. Yeah, something.
Something, yeah.
Michelle work on that.
I was going to say Michelle work on that. So, anyway, so this is my wife's cousin, Patricia McDavid, said she's coming out this way one of these days soon. So we'd love to see you. Come on out, and we'll find a dry spot for you too. So. So what else? So we've talked about the flood. We talked about the bocce. We can continue to talk about the bocce because I'm excited about doing that. That'll be an interesting journey. So that's what time? Saturday morning, 10 o'clock. We'll be going live probably a few minutes before. We'll be doing some interviews with the Maui Food Bank. We'll be doing some interviews with the players, and we'll be calling the game. And it's the best out of 3. So there's either going to be 2 or 3 rounds depending on how it shakes out. So. And I think they're 20-minute games. So we'll be going live. And so we'd love to see you there. If you want to sponsor and contribute, donate to the Maui Food Bank Backpack Buddies, you can go online and just type in Maui Food Bank donation, and there's a link right there.
And you're not going to play, Tom?
Pardon? No, I'm going to be the broadcaster. Me and Jordan are going to be the play-by-play. And you're going to be there as our support staff. And, we'll be keeping the camera on you, so maybe you'll be on the air if you show up, if you don't go out partying all night and sleeping. That goes for you too, Jordan, by the way.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, yeah, sure.
Anyway, so what's happening in the Maui real estate market? A little crazy?
Very, very crazy. Yeah, red hot. I pulled up. So Tom, did we want to talk about? Let's do the overall stats first.
Yeah, let's do that because you've got that up in front of you.
Yeah.
I got more drilled down stats that we'll talk about after that.
So I've got the February stats. So this is last month, all of Maui. Number of sales, there was 101 sales for single family homes, which was up 21.7% from last year. So there's been a lot of sales. The median price also went up to $895 last month. and that's a 19.7% increase from last year. And let's see for condos. So, I mean, that kind of just tells us where residential market has been. And, you know, like, as we've been talking about, just multiple offer situations, you know, I think a lot of people are trying to capitalize on the low interest rates, and also trying to, you know, a lot of people are moving here. So,
well, yeah,
see that on the numbers for sure. I'm sorry, Tom, what was that?
I was going to say, there's a lot of people saying, I don't want to be where I'm at. I want to be somewhere else, and somewhere else is Maui, and some other resort destinations as well. Talking to my friends that are in resort destinations, and they're all being inundated with business because there's a lot of people who can work from anywhere. We've said it for months now, and they want to work from where they want to be. So,
Right.
So I have a question. Tom and Jordan, when you guys get into those multiple offer situations, how do you handle them?
There's a bunch of different, you know, techniques and tactics, and it depends, obviously, if you're representing the seller or the buyer. But yeah, if you're representing a buyer, I always tell our clients, ultimately it's whatever our clients want to do, but I always recommend and give them guidance to say, hey, let's be as competitive as possible. This is where the market's at. You know, put your best foot forward. And it's one of those situations where you're just trying to get your foot in the door.
I think there's more to it than that too, Jordan. You know, that's good advice. But I think first you have to have the conversation with your clients when you're in, before you write the offer, as you're showing property, keeping them in the loop to say, hey, it's a really competitive market. You know, clients coming in from the mainland are seeing that all over the place. Well, it's happening here now. The other thing that and then this is one of the things that I think is so important is, and if you haven't done it, it's too late. As a realtor goes, is you need to play nice in the sandbox. And if you haven't been a realtor that's played nice in the sandbox, and you haven't taken care of, been responsible, been reasonable with other agents, have a good reputation, those are things that matter. So working with an agent who's experienced, has a great reputation, is going to make all the difference, or is not all the difference, is going to make a difference, because very often if there's multiple offers, they're going to be really similar. They're going to be, full price, same closing time. The contracts are pretty standard. And so the agent that listing is the property is going to go to the sellers and say, I like this. We got two similar offers, but I'd rather work with this agent because I trust that they close and sell real estate. And it makes a difference. I know that when I represent a seller, they very often give me a little bit of latitude saying, well, what would you do? Or what would you say? And it was like, boy, if we can put this deal together with this agent. One of the things we always preach in our company is don't be that agent. Don't be the agent that, makes life miserable when you're representing a buyer on a seller, on a transaction. So that's something you can't fix. And one of the things that I'm really happy about our team and watching Jordan and myself, we're successful at multiple offers because agents like to work with us. Because we try to get to the finish line. We try not to be, we want to represent our clients the best we can, but there's a way to do it without being a jerk, I guess. And that's one of the things we focus on. The other thing that's important is it's not always about money. Sometimes it's about closing date. Sometimes it's about title officer. Sometimes it's about termite inspection or whatever, or survey, and having the conversation with the seller's representative and asking them, aside from money, what's important to you, so that you can craft your contract to be the best contract that's the most appealing to the seller. Anyway, any other thoughts after that long dive?
Those are very good points. And, seeing it from the other side too, being a listing agent, it's exactly, right. You're exactly right. Talking about, Halakla Gardens, when I put that on the market, I had tons of showings. It luckily didn't get into a multiple offer situation. We got something locked down, which was great. But there was a couple agents that came, or there was one agent in particular that I'm like, oh gosh, if they write an offer, it'll be, and I hate to think of it that way.
Right.
But it's, like Tom was saying, you get those 2 offers or 3 offers or 4 offers or whatever, you're going to be advising your clients and say, hey, like, if there's one that's like, man, I had a really, really tough time with this agent last time, or I've heard, it's one of those things. Yeah. So I agree. Yeah, so then the other stats for condos, this is interesting too. So this is last month again, February. Um, there was 165 total sales. That was up 24% from last year, and interestingly, it was up 44% from the month prior. So January, which
Really?
is yeah,
So
44% increase.
let me tell you, and any other, because I'll jump into that'll segue me into what is really
One last, yeah. I mean, it really just shows you the market's really just been on a uptick, crazy uptick. And the last stat was that I can't find it anywhere on here, but somebody said that there's 800 current pending home sales in Maui County. So I mean, we're
pending
really
sale,
gonna,
not home, just home.
yeah,
Home
pending
condos.
sales. Yeah. So
Well, what's interesting is, I want to jump into the condos market, because one of the articles I read a couple days ago, it said, oh, the condos are soft, they're not as strong as they were. But what we've been doing is, and I look at our sales for South Maui, because that's where we focus a little bit more of our energy, and it's easier for me to manage them mentally because of the target market we work. But what we're seeing is nobody is out there splitting out the vacation rental condos from the residential condos. So I dive deep into the stats to try to figure this out, because it really tells a different story than when they just say, oh, condo sales are down. Well, no, they're not. If you look at resort versus residential, in the residential condo market in South Maui, there's 36 active. This was as of Monday morning, 36 active, 85 pending, and 29 sold. So you can see that 29 and 36 is close. So that's what we're tracking. And with 85 pending, that's 40, 42 in the next 60 days, the way that it'll balance out. So that's been consistent. Less than a month, way less than a month's inventory available in residential condos. And so, that sort of tracks along with the home sales. Now we go to the vacation rental side, and we've been following this for weeks. And if you've heard me talking, it was about 6 weeks ago. We had right around 220 active vacation rental condos in South Maui, and we had about 40-ish pending. And so we look at that, and now we look at it today or Monday, and solds, we had 40. So that tracks right with the 40 pending and as it's cycling through. But the different thing is now today, instead of 220 or 190, like it was 4 weeks ago, available, we were down to 130 active condos,
wow.
which is a ginormous drop.
Yeah.
And we went from about 40, 38 to 45, 4 to 6 weeks ago. And we're up to 100 pending. We're up to 122 pending, which is mind-bending, because now what that means is in the next 30 days, those 122 are going to translate into roughly 60 or 70 sales, because our transaction time is about 45 days. So we're going to see our sales for resort condos and then for regular condos skyrocket in the next 60 days. And those are the stats that everybody looks at. They don't look at the pending stats. So it's interesting to see that we're going to see this huge rush up in the next 35 to 45 days in statistical closes for vacation rental condos, and then likewise in the regular condos. So it'll be an interesting transition, and you're hearing it. You're not going to hear this. You won't hear this information anywhere else, because they wait for the closed stuff and they don't split it out. You won't hear this for 3 months. It's like, oh, the condo market exploded.
Yep.
And we can see that just by the preliminary data. So I think that's important to know.
And it's interesting, yeah, because that was the portion of the market that was, slower than the other residential condos and residential homes. Those really took off, and that was kind of lagging. And all of a sudden, we're on the cusp of the whole market really just taking off.
Well, Jordan, I think if we were able to go back and look at our shows from 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10, 12 weeks ago, what do we keep saying? Where is the opportunity? How's it? The residential is tough right now, but the opportunity is in vacation rentals, and boom, that's exactly where we're seeing. So that's how it's evolving. So, glad to know that between us, we're sort of speaking some truth as we're trying to interpret what's happening in the market.
Right.
And then the other thing I just read, somebody sent me a Housing Wire news that Fannie and Freddie are again getting more stringent on loans, not just for condos, but for homes. If people are buying their homes as second homes and using them as a vacation rental, or using them as a second home, they're going to start requiring a little bit more money down and a little bit less willingness to buy those loans. So I think for our second home market, if you're thinking about doing that, it's effective April 1st. So it's going to be under the wire right now. So just for buyers to be aware that that's going to start to affect them. So that's what I got. And let's finish it with two things. One, Halama Street, unfortunately, is one of our listings. Oceanfront's back on the market. We fell out of escrow last week. Because we found out that, unfortunately, we thought we had our own solar system and it was a leased solar system. But that's resolved, but it did cause our transaction to fall apart. So it's an amazing $3.5 million oceanfront home. It's the little grass shack. It's just the cutest little place on Halama Street. So if you're interested, let us know. We'll get you in.
When you said resolved, Tom, it's now owned, right? Because
they've got an arrangement with
okay.
the solar company where they're going to be able to buy it out. So
okay.
So yeah, we had to work through that, but it was a challenge. And then lastly, I want to finish with yes, sir. Did I say it right?
That was pretty good, actually. Yeah. So so I did it by Talk Vision Tuesday, and I got inspiration from going to Sam Salto's and Tom. I thought of you, Tom, at one time that we did a video, and I referenced our old Taste of Paradise Sam Salto's video where Tom went to Sam Salto's for the first time. But I went there the other day, and it's my favorite place to eat on the island. And so there's a word in Pidgin. It's more of a what I call new school.
Okay.
Or, my parents didn't grow up saying this, but yes, sir is like basically like a exclamation or like expressing happiness and stuff like that. So it really fit the bill. And so yeah, go watch the video on my page. I also show the food, which is more exciting than watching me talk. So
absolutely. And you can also find the videos that we've done in Taste of Paradise on our YouTube channel, Taste of Paradise. And then have you seen, speaking of Pigeon, have you seen the new, I think it's Central Pacific Bank commercials, where it's like this turtle and this, I don't know, some other kind of animal, and he's talking in like a low grumble pigeon, and it's like, this is
really?
Yeah, you got to check it out. It's really interesting. It's a cartoon. And there's a bunch of different ones. And every time I see it, I think of Jordan. You were the inspiration for those guys because ripping you off.
I wish I could take credit for that, but I don't know.
Yeah. So, all right, everybody. Well, we are good to go, and we will check in with you guys Saturday. Join us and tune in.
Yep.
All right.
All right. See ya.
Aloha.